Sorry. Hello? Is anybody there?
Do you need to clap?
Hello?
Do we have some kind of intro?
Is it me you're looking for?
Oh, yes.
It is.
Cool. Wait. Who am I? And who are you?
I don't know. Who are you?
I guess I'm Reese, and then...
I guess I'm Hannah. Not
gotta-
Anna. Hannah.
That's good to know. Okay, I'll try to keep that one down.
I'm Jingleberry Bob,
Jingleberry Bob.
Jingleberry Bob?
the Christmas fairy.
Mildly in the corner.
That's delightful.
Less creepy than usual.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Jingleberry Bob, because you're just in time. Because it's actually, it's kind of getting to the Christmas season.
I hadn't noticed.
It's like Christmas spirit time on the Movie Overload podcast, actually.
This is the Movie Overload podcast, where we cover 100 essential films from Trip to the Moon to Parasite.
Fuck Woody Allen.
Fuck Woody Allen.
Oh, that's very nice and all, but I hear Santa's a bit disappointed in your movie choice because it's kind of a pseudo-Christmas movie.
You know, what the hell?
Well,
And you probably can expect coal.
but, I mean...
Not again!
I've got a defense for
Yes.
this. I've prepared a whole legal defense. 1333 words. That's how many words I have to defend that
hold
it's a
on.
Christmas movie.
I'm receiving a communication. Yes, we will be monitoring this podcast, and I will give you our decision at the end when we hear your arguments.
Would you like to sit in on this one? Because Hunter's not able to make it today.
I'll be around. I think he's coming in. I think I hear him coming down.
You sure? I don't think
Yes, I'm
he's
going
here.
to-
I think he texted me
I'm going to vanish.
that he's
for a
not going to be
moment
here.
And
I think he said that you're my
he's-
replacement.
He's definitely coming. He's on his way right now. I'm going to disappear.
Bye, Billy Bob, Joel.
That sounds
Joe,
wrong.
Elf, Jingle.
Oh, he's gone.
Barry.
Just disappeared in a snap.
Hunter.
How's it going?
Wait,
Are we doing the podcast about
Wait.
that movie?
why are you late?
What the
How
fuck?
does that even happen?
You know me. I'm late a lot.
I guess that's true.
What just
I just-
happened?
I thought you weren't coming.
No,
You said that Jingleberry
Who?
Bob was going to be here instead.
Who are you talking
I have the
about?
text right here. Do you want me to show you the timestamps?
No, I don't need your lies. It's fine.
I don't need your
What?
lies.
I don't need you to make stuff up.
I think this is Hunter is an imposter.
Oh no,
Give me back the elf.
I'm not
You
sus.
bitch.
I swear.
I want Jingleberry Bob or nothing.
don't know what you're talking about.
Give me
This
the Bob.
podcast basically can't continue without Jingleberry Bob. So you're going to have to leave fake Hunter.
I don't know
We're going to have a
who that
30-minute
is
intro about Jingleberry
or
Bob.
what you're talking about. Can we just? I just thought we were going to talk about this movie,
What movie?
The Grinch.
Oh, yeah.
Home Alone.
The Grinch,
Starring
Home
Jim-
Alone.
starring Jim Carrey.
And James McAvoy.
And Tim Allen.
Whoa. Yeah.
We should start that.
So Santa Claus 3 Movie Overload podcast.
I really like The Grinch because Jim Carrey's in it.
I really
Jim
like the
Carrey's
one
fun.
that has Benedict Cumbersnatch
That one's so cute.
because I like Illumination.
The new animated one.
I like the minions in it,
I gotta go. I gotta leave.
but Illumination
Just go.
is always make me
Sorry.
happy. Remember, because in Despicable Me 2, they have Happy, the song Happy in it.
Yeah, I know. I've had to listen to it a lot lately
Why?
because it plays.
Because it's a Christmas song?
Oh wait, I forgot. This is in the past. It
What? What's
a place
Time Traveler?
place
No, it's Christmas time.
I think
a
I
place
think this
used to
Hunter
work
imposter
at.
might be a time
A
traveler.
place I used to work at played that song a lot. It
Mm.
drove me crazy, but they don't play it anymore.
You were not happy
He's here
while
from the
listening to
past.
Happy.
Did not clap my hands.
Did you come along if you felt like a room without a roof?
No.
Is that Jingleberry Bob?
Whoa.
That was Jingleberry Billy.
Whoa.
And
Is
he's
Jingle
my friend.
Bing just Jingle Bingy Bilby want to join in?
Yes, I do.
I'm glad.
What's
Okay.
this about? I don't.
Anyway,
It's fine.
anyway, Anyway,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you
Um,
mother truckers.
Wow, that was
Sorry, I got excited.
Just because
What do
they
you like that,
bombard
guys?
us with hate tweets doesn't mean you can insult everyone.
that's just gonna make it worse.
There's a few of them that probably don't. Maybe.
I don't
Hope.
think so.
They better.
No,
Okay, it's fine.
we know what we did.
Review Wizard of Oz
Yes, basically.
negatively.
People will not leave us alone. It's crazy.
We wish we had that kind of attention.
That's the
I
problem.
wake up
is
to death
we just
threats.
have so much. It's like that's the problem when you get like a big audience, like what we have. You know, it's just you're gonna upset somebody. You can't make everybody happy, and it's hard. It's actually harder to get guests because a lot of people are scared to be in front of so many people, which is what I assume
true.
happened to Jingleberry Bob. He seemed a little nervous.
He was just intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand.
This is true.
It's. I mean, I assume because we have such a toxic fan base. I just assume, people are scared
The
of
thousands
having
of
to face that.
fans we
Yeah.
upset about Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz and Snow White.
Well, don't worry. We'll make people more upset today. It's my Christmas gift to you. I'm gonna shit on this movie.
You are?
No.
Oh, thank
Turns
God.
out, classic film, which we are, or the one we're talking
I'ma
about
walk
is
out.
It's a Wonderful Life. It sucks.
It's a shitty life.
Ooh.
It's
I'm
a
just kidding.
it's
not
a
true.
wonder fuck life.
Figure that one out.
That's why you have 4 kids.
That's why we're actually.
That's
That's why we're actually reviewing Santa Claus 3.
yeah. So so Tim Allen
What's that guy's name?
When
returned.
has baby?
Yes. And who plays Jack Frost? I forget his name.
Martin
Martin
Short.
Yes, I knew it was a Martin.
It's one of the
Martin
Martins.
Short.
He's good.
The most iconic actor of our time.
Definitely.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully
Maybe the most iconic actor of several decades ago. He's still
Yeah.
good. I like
I
him.
mean, he exists.
He
I
good.
get. Yeah,
Him and Steve
he's sitting
Martin.
there. So, do you guys kind of like? Do you want to talk about a movie?
No,
Or
I want to go to bed.
oh, okay.
It's been exhausting.
Should I read you a Christmas bedtime story about a movie?
That might get me in the mood
Okay.
to talk about the movie. Yes. It's been possible.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and
No, I wanna
all
go to
through the
bed.
house, not a creature was stirring.
Not even a louse.
Not even my blouse.
Whoa.
And then there's a story about how I didn't have enough time to figure out a rhyme for it, but basically what happens is Martin Short and Martin Sheen go on a fanciful adventure to try to deliver Christmas gifts on time, but they accidentally mixed up your gifts and friend of the pod Aiden's gifts, and so you end up getting all of the really like weird kind of creepy cosmic horror movies and Aiden got all of the like indie Criterion movies that you are into.
In Paddington.
I feel like I like both of those things.
I know. So that's
Can
the
we, like,
but that's the
swap?
problem is that you can't because
I
Aiden
mean,
doesn't really like those ones and so he doesn't want to switch back. Like I mean he wants to
Oh.
switch back but you don't really want to.
I feel like I could be okay
And so
either way,
that's why Short and Sheen have to get involved
Whoa.
because they decided that
I would watch that movie.
yeah,
What a weird pair that would be.
Martin Short and Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds pretty like weren't they made for each other?
Probably.
They've got the same name. Aren't they related?
I mean, yeah, people with the same first name usually are.
Martin Wait. Is it Martin Short and Martin Sheen?
Yes. I just had to go confirm who that was.
I
and it
genuinely
is who
was
I
not
have.
Ort
expecting that
and
twist.
Een, the boys. I don't know why I said any of the things that I said, and I regret my life. So Frank Capra, a well-known legend of the feel-good Hollywood classic, funded, produced, wrote, and directed not only one of the most beloved Christmas films of all time, but one that is rightfully considered to be one of the most iconic Hollywood films of the Golden Age. 1946's It's a Wonderful Life not only showcases perfectly an era obsessed with the American dream and family values, but does so with such power and charisma that it is still loved today by film fans over the world over, regardless of beliefs or politics, or even if they celebrate Christmas, I guess. While not
Christmas
without its
not
problems.
required.
Exactly. It's beautiful. I don't know. While not without its problems, it still stands today as one of the most effective feel-good films of all time, not to mention its fantastic production or terrific performances from Titans, James Stewart, and Donna Reed.
Heck yeah.
Wow.
Which every time I read her name, I just thought of the Donna Reed party, and it was confusing for me. Do you know? Do you guys not know the Donna Reed party?
No.
They were like one of them caravans that instead of taking the Oregon Trail, tried to take a shortcut, and they had to eat each other.
Oh, I do know that. I just forgot what it was called because
Yeah.
my brain blocked it from my
It's
memory.
the Donna Reed party.
I do not have.
I did have to read about that in depth. It was
I do know.
I have
good.
any memory of that.
It was pretty sketchy.
It was brutal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
they
probably
labeled
read
each
about
other,
it and forgot.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's okay.
So
Alright then.
that was great.
Yeah.
So on that topic, there's a lot of cannibalism in this movie as well.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Namely, the big rich guy financially cannibalizing the citizens of a small town.
Get it,
Get it? I almost did it.
rich people.
Should I be the one delivering this report right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I kind of feel like at the moment I am high without actually having taken anything. That's what happens every time I record a Christmas podcast, historically.
That's true.
Did I ever tell you about the other
Oh,
Christmas podcast I did?
No.
Yeah,
I
was
didn't even
high.
know about it until like a month or two ago.
You were actually high?
I was
Yeah.
high
Good job.
on accident,
Oops.
as has happened sometime.
It's all good. That happens to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I can't sleep. And somebody was like, take a sleeping pill thing.
And then you're like, let's
Record
record
a
a
podcast.
podcast.
And then I realized I didn't record the Christmas podcast. Yeah. And I think that one also opened with somebody trying to tell a Christmas tale that derailed and was not even remotely entertaining. So I think we're on track. I guess I've got a plot summary if you care.
I
Yes,
do.
please.
Do we care? I mean, I feel like everybody's seen it.
I
But
don't
like
know.
if you haven't,
If they haven't,
You can
do you
Just
feel
a
like it's
quick
important to
rundown.
see the movie before listening to the podcast? Like,
No,
I don't-
I don't know. I don't think this is like a spoiler kind of movie.
yeah,
You've had
because it
Like,
pretty much opens
80
with how it
years
ends.
to watch it.
Like if you
That's also
hear
true.
the premise, you know exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Like it's
That's
not complicated.
like it opens with, you
Yeah.
know,
It kind
basically how
of
it's
it
gonna end
telegraphs
anyway.
where it's going, and the description that you see that people write for the movie is very obvious, and like it's exactly what you think it's going to be. But it's a good experience still.
yeah,
So it's one of those movies where it's like you don't have to be surprised by the twists. It's just like it's just a good time.
it is.
But yes, please take us through. Just give everybody a reminder if they haven't seen it in a while.
Can do. I will do my best. So George Bailey is depressed and contemplating suicide, and the angel second class Clarence watches all throughout George's life as he repeatedly puts his ambitions and hopes on hold to continue to take care of the little guy and those he loves. Giving up his chance on traveling, college, and even defining his own career or investments, Bailey's time is always put on hold to keep the family business afloat, which is a building and loan company dedicated to helping the underprivileged out of the squalor inflicted upon them by resident rich asshole Mr. Potter. George's story reaches the present day with his uncle losing the company's assets, a sum of $8,000, by accidentally giving it to Mr. Potter. George spirals at the news and, aware that his life insurance is worth more than he is, decides to end it all to leave his family something. Clarence the Angel stops him from doing so and convinces George that his life is worth living by showing him how very different this town would be if he wasn't ever in it. In a pathos-infused swell, the families he's helped over the years all pitch in to help him recover the losses and narrowly avoid a jail sentence. Which, if I'm going to be a little nitpicky, is the most contrived part.
It kind of is. There's a few parts.
The ending was... Yeah, the ending is a little...
Yeah, it's funny. Like it lets itself swing really far into like the bad feelings and the good feelings in a way that almost comes off as kind of contrived and maybe overdoing it a little bit, but also it's okay, and it still kind of works, I think.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is it's like there's an extent to which I feel like it doesn't entirely make sense emotionally, but it also still like overpowers me with emotion.
Yeah.
So I like
It's
don't
effective
care.
enough.
Right.
Like it works. Yeah. And Jimmy Stewart's just like the best, and he sells it.
Marry me, Jimmy Stewart.
He's great.
He's great, except for that one bit when she loses her bathrobe
Freaking
thing, and he's just like, I don't know.
funny.
He's like, I cannot.
I was just like, but why?
I'd be so pissed.
Right, like that's just like sexual harassment.
It totally was. But also, it was just like fun.
Like,
Like I know they were just having
right.
fun.
It's in a certain context, it can be just like funny and cute, but she was just like, I'll call the cops, I'll scream, stop. And for me, I'm just hearing that and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Not
then.
funny.
Like it would be one thing if that happened like later in the movie, like when they were married or
Yeah.
something, and like
he's
just
totally
funny.
exaggerating it and like making a joke out of it. He's like, I could sell tickets or something.
Yeah,
Right.
that was
Like-
actually pretty funny.
like it's going way over
like
the top.
it's
like,
yeah. It's
But
like
yeah, no,
it is
it-
kind of
she was
funny because you know
uncomfortable,
it's a
though.
safe place because it's in this movie in the 40s and whatever, but it's
Yeah.
also like really
she's
bad.
uncomfortable.
yeah.
The joke wouldn't fly as a joke today.
No, you could not do that today, even remotely. You'd have to, yeah. Anyway, no, bad. But also,
I get
okay,
it, but
I
like
guess.
it gets me though. Just at first, and he's like, oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
This is a very interesting situation.
He's
oh no.
he's got a decent amount of charisma.
How did that even happen? Because it's just like he turned away, and then
It's
what?
weird.
She just ran off
Mhm.
and was like, "Ah, oh no, my robe, it's gone." It's like, woman, you
okay.
felt that. It's cold outside.
Okay.
It's cold.
Depressing.
What?
Anyway,
Okay. Well, so there is some information about this movie, but suffice it to say, if you only needed to know one thing about the history of this movie, it's that it didn't do well, and it didn't do well critically either, and it was not considered a Christmas movie, and nobody remembered it.
No way.
Yeah. Until it started getting played on TV in like the 70s and 80s, and then it became a classic. And then Frank Capra
That
was
makes
like,
sense.
"What?"
What?
now you like it?
Took 30
Fine.
years.
It's apparently
Figures.
the first and last time that he actually like, funded, produced, directed like all that stuff at once, for a movie. And he was known for like a few pretty big movies before, also with Jimmy Stewart, notably You Can't Take It With You from 1938 and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington from 1939.
I've seen one of those movies.
You have? Which one?
I've seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Is it good?
Yeah,
I've been wanting to watch that one.
It's. I mean, if you like seeing Jimmy Stewart do things and be a good person, it's pretty cool. But like in a political situation.
So
I don't know.
does it feel very similar?
I mean, kinda. It's a guy who gives up a lot of his time and energy to the point of exhaustion for the good of some cause, and it's cool. I saw it in the theater like a year ago.
That's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was one of the like when theaters were a thing, and they would do those TCM like old showings, and I would go with Keely.
Hmm.
We went and saw that.
That's
It was
cool.
good.
Yeah.
When theaters were a
Anywho,
thing.
Mm-hmm. But
and I remember we mentioned the other one, You Can't Take It With You, because that beat out something that we were talking about on the podcast before.
I think it might have beat up Maltese Falcon. I can't remember.
Maybe. I
Well,
don't remember.
38. No, it was 38. So anyway, it was one of the
We've
things.
mentioned it before for
We
sure.
have. Yep.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so those were really big. Those were a big deal. Those had critical acclaim and made money. And so, Capra was doing well. This, he apparently, so it's based on a short story by Philip Van Dorn Stern, called The Greatest Gift, which RKO bought for like $10,000 the rights to, which is like $148,000 today.
Jeez.
But then they just sold that directly to Capra because he had a contract for like a bunch of movies with RKO. And so they're like, hey, we have this thing. and Capra was like, oh yeah, okay, that'll work for one of my next movies. And he wanted that to be like his big return to Hollywood after the war, because he'd been doing like, you know, propaganda films and documentaries and stuff like that during the war. So he wanted to come back to Hollywood and like make a movie. So he bought it for $10,000 again from them.
Gotcha.
Even though apparently he claimed in later interviews that he spent $50,000, but I don't think that's actually true.
Weird.
I don't think there's any record of that. And you know, three scripts had already been written and scrapped and whatever beforehand. That, you know, weren't very good, but he took like incorporated some of the elements from those for his scripts. But anyway, so like he puts in his own money. He's like starting it. The budget was $3 million, but it ended up going to about $3.18 million. So, you know, budget, like adjusting for inflation, that's like $40 million, and then ending up going to like $42.4 million ish. But he's, you know, he's paying for it. He's getting all this stuff out, and then it comes out, and it apparently results in studio box office losses of, I guess, $525,000 at the time.
Jeez.
It made $3.3 million in the box office, which is like $44 million today. Okay. But it said that the break-even point for them would have been like $6.3 million, according to what I was hearing,
What the heck?
because of marketing and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which is like $84 million. That's what they needed from it. So it totally like hurt studio faith in Capra. They're like, okay, I guess Capra doesn't make big box office successes anymore. Yeah. So that was a little sad for Capra because, you know, now we look at it and it's his, you know, most well-known film. In an already legendary career, it's his biggest movie now.
Sure.
But yeah, the writing was also kind of rough and weird. So many people have like had at least more involved in the writing process. It says, so Frances Goodrich and her husband Albert Hackett, who were like, you know, power couple screenwriting duo. Joe Swerling, who is one of their friends, Michael Wilson, Dorothy Parker, and Capra himself were all involved on different versions of the screenplay. It sounded like Swerling and Capra were working on it, but he also had Goodrich and Hackett working on it separately. And then like they didn't really hear anything. They just knew that Capra was working on the script. And then he like contacted them. He's like, so when you're gonna have the script done? And so they just like rushed out the final scene. It was like, okay, we have it now. And they never talked to him again. And they, I don't know. In later interviews, they're like, oh man, he's such an arrogant asshole. I hate him. So I don't really know how that writing process went, but it's weird because things were just being like connected together, I guess, by Dorothy Parker doing some polishing or something. So it was already weird, you know, because there were like 3 scripts before that they were also incorporating. So there's just a whole mess of things.
But it turned out okay.
It did, but I
solid.
feel like you can kind of tell a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there are some bits where it just feels like it goes in like the opening stuff, basically like the first half of the movie before it goes into the real time. Pardon. To me, has a very different tone than the rest of it. It feels like it switches at some point. But also with the way that the ending works, it feels like it was rushed out in the way that reportedly Goodrich and Hackett did that. Like the ending feels like it just happened. And it works because of a lot of different things, because of the performances, because of the directing, because of whatever. But like on a plot structure graph, it's like it's weird. It resolves very quickly.
Yeah, this is true. And kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, kind of. But
Sort
also
of.
Kind of not, I guess.
Like they're trying to set it up for a while, but it still feels a bit contrived, which is funny because originally they were going to have there was like an alternate scene that they were originally going to do, which like George like gets down on his knees and he recites the Lord's Prayer, and like that's kind of some of the resolution. But they were like, no, that's kind of, it's too religious and it's distracting from the main message of like the people that he's taking care of, pitching in and helping him out.
I might be inclined to agree with that.
Yeah. Well, it would have been weird.
It would have.
But like that's the thing is, then you can kind of tell they just went with something else maybe. Like it just, there's something about it that just doesn't feel like it resolves perfectly.
Yeah,
and
it's not subtle. It's just going to kind of hammer it home.
Mm-hmm.
and
Which
that's
is
okay.
why the initial reception, I think, was a bit mixed, because people were definitely saying it was like, it's a little bit too fanciful and cute, and like it kind of tries to talk about real world problems, but then ends up just being like kind of feel goody at the end and not
Right.
having too much substance,
Yeah.
which I kind of see.
Kinda true.
I think it's debatable because there is still a lot of substance there that's powerful,
Mhm.
but yeah, it also just has a very like, I don't know. Oh, America, things are good and we're good Christian people and everything works out and it's all happy and it's fine and don't worry about it. It's Golden Age Hollywood.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I feel like what it's pushing for is cool. Like it's good.
Mhm.
Like advocating for like I don't know. It's hard. There's different sides to it, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because on the one side it's got the like being a good person is valuable and is good.
Very good.
Very good. You get friends and friends help you and then people actually like you and can help you when you're having a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just good to be nice and help society in a way that's not greedy and cruel.
Right.
And also fuck rich people because this dude's crazy
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to try and make everything suck. And I'm like, heck yeah. But then it's also like, I don't know, does he go too far sacrificing his own potential happiness and things for other things? Maybe that's part of, I don't know.
I feel like in a weird way, Capra is like trying to
It's okay
almost
to
argue
give up
for
on your
some sort of
dreams.
collectivism.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like where
Kinda.
he's kind of saying like, hey, well, you're serving the greater good and that's good and that can come back and help
Right.
you out and that's good.
And I think that's true, but it's also like it's kind of sad. Like it's very much just like you don't need to do what you want and follow your
Right.
dreams as long as you help your people and have friends.
Well, that was the bit that fell off about the latter bit. Was
Yeah.
it's like there's this kind of tragedy of him, giving up everything to help
Yeah.
out these people, and it's good,
think
it's bad,
that's
it's a
like-
mixed emotion.
Yeah, like you feel that when he's having the breakdown moment where it's
Right.
like it's not only like the despair of what's falling apart right now, but it's also kind of all those old feelings being drawn up as well. Like, oh, it didn't have to be like this. I could have been someone else.
Right. But then what Clarence ends up doing is just being like, okay, fine, you don't exist, and then
Yeah.
it really does feel to me more like he's, rather than appreciating the life that he had, he's more just like, oh shit, like I guess this is here, let me it's more like, here, let me show you something worse than what you have.
Right.
And this weird way of that kind of logic of, well, it's worse for other people somewhere, like when when you're a kid and you're like, don't finish the food on your plate, and they're like, well, there are kids starving in Africa, you know what I mean? Or it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't maybe actually respond to what that person you're talking to is really feeling, even though that's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even though that's
Yeah.
true and that does matter.
It's like I get it, Clarence. If I hadn't been around, these people would have died and my town would be worse. But how's that gonna keep me out of jail?
But what does that mean? What does that mean for me? And does it still matter that my life didn't go the way that I wanted it to, and I didn't get to do anything for myself, and I'm
Yeah.
depressed?
It almost is like a Wizard of Oz kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, just appreciate what you have, you idiot.
It's very Golden Age.
Yeah.
It's just very what you'd expect
It's
from this
okay.
era. And
I don't want to
but-
knock it.
exactly,
Like,
but that's the thing.
entirely.
Is it's like when I want to talk about it and I go through it and I'm like analyzing it critically like that those are my feelings on it.
Mhm.
But when I'm watching it, I'm just like, oh, this is nice and I love
Yeah.
it. So
Totally.
it's, I don't know.
My insides turned to actual mush when I watched it. Like I felt
Mhm.
sparkly.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
put on
right.
my letterboxd
That's
It
great.
letterbox
totally
review.
is well made and it sells it. And it's very earnest and it's good. And I like it.
It
It's
was
a good time.
really great. Like, it was very cute. It really did almost bring me to tears multiple
Mhm.
times. I loved it.
It does what it does very well.
I know you guys were saying like you felt like some of the emotions were over the top, but when he comes home,
Yeah.
he is so genuinely happy to be there.
Yeah.
Like that didn't feel too over the
No,
top.
it didn't at all.
No.
After everything, like it was so.
Yeah. Like,
That's what hit home.
I definitely, would agree. Like, he sells all of it.
Yeah.
If you didn't
He's a
have
winner.
Jimmy Stewart in the lead, it just
Yeah.
wouldn't be a thing. Which is weird because
I agree.
apparently originally there's some debate as to whether it was Cary Grant was the one that like wanted the this made into a movie and like found the script and whatever. So like they might have ended up going with him as the lead, but then it never really seemed to be like they were fully in talks with him over it because
That-
Jimmy Stewart was just the perfect person to play
That's
it.
so
They all
funny.
knew that.
His voice, even just the way he talks, like
Yeah.
it had to be him.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great though. Just being like Cary Grant being like, "Hey guys, I found this thing. It'd be a cool movie, huh?" And then everyone being like, "Oh yeah, thanks. We're gonna make it with other people."
Oh yeah, thanks.
With-
Let's
Bye,
get Jimmy
Cary
Stewart on
Grant.
Everyone
board.
but you. And he's like, "Wait, come back."
It wouldn't have been as good with Cary Grant though. Like
I
I like
agree.
Cary Grant, but like he's not the right person for this role.
No.
So I'm fine with that. But yeah, so yeah, Stewart immediately jumped on board because he'd worked with Capra on 2 previous films and was just like, they were like, do you want to hear the story? He's like, I don't need to hear it. I'm on board. And then they considered like a ton of people. Well, I mean, they also considered Henry Fonda for that role apparently, but he ended up doing something else, and so it didn't really ever materialize.
Interesting.
And then for the role of Mary, they went through a ton. Jean Arthur, Martha Scott, Olivia de Havilland, Anne Dvorak, and Ginger Rogers were all considered first.
Oh, Ginger.
Yeah.
She
And
is good.
I guess she turned it down and talked about that in her autobiography where she was just like, what? A mistake, you say?
Yeah. Yeah, talk about regret. Oh my gosh.
Because this would be a pretty important role.
Yeah. It's huge.
And then for those other 17 like supporting parts, Capra went through 170 actors to fulfill those 17 roles, which was a
Not
lot,
bad.
especially at the time.
Mm-hmm. For the time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot when you think about like the casting for Han Solo and the solo
No.
movie Han Solo, the solo Star
Even
Wars story.
commercials.
Yeah.
Dude, him, Alden Ehrenreich, Inhale Caesar.
Good.
What a good soft boy.
Good. I've only seen the bits with him.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't know what his character was going to be at all, and it was really good.
Yeah, he's very funny.
Yes. Anyway, sorry, tangent.
Was fine because we just have to bring up that movie every time now, right? That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Pretty much.
Thanks for saying that. I immediately just pictured Ryan Gosling in the role of George.
Would also work.
It totally would. Oh, I want it now. All the remakes with Ryan
We have to remake
Gosling.
every movie on this list with Ryan Gosling.
Yes. I would
go.
die for that.
Everybody subscribe to the Patreon for Hannah's side podcast, Everything with Ryan Gosling.
Think about it. Like Jimmy Stewart's so perfect, but as a modern day remake, Ryan Gosling.
He's who you'd choose.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
If we're doing every movie starring Ryan Gosling as King Kong,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I would rather him be the damsel in distress.
Yes.
There you go.
He big
That would be
monkey
great.
and big sad.
You get Jake Gyllenhaal to play King Kong.
Whoa.
Got Ryan Gosling to play.
I want a few Leo DiCaprio ones too, like Citizen Kane,
Yeah.
Leo DiCaprio, and then the Metropolis one with Leo DiCaprio.
Man, like I can see it and it would work and it would be fine. But also something inside me just got really upset at hearing the thought of remaking Citizen Kane made me want to like die. Like
Well-
I got so I was like,
It wouldn't be good, but if we were
Yeah,
remaking all
it
the
would
movies
work.
from the
Right,
list,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
would cast him in a few.
Exactly. And I know that's what we were already talking about, but my emotions did not understand.
He got
they
triggered.
they were very confused.
Okay.
And with a lot of these movies, I feel like modern remakes of them would not have the guts to be as political as a lot of them are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
True.
you could sell the
That's
politics
true.
of Metropolis.
Yeah.
Like we've gained way more film freedom than we used to have, but we've also lost a lot of right to say,
It's very
make statements without people,
People get
getting upset.
really pissed off at
Or-
any kind of almost statement.
Exactly.
Yeah, or at least it's just not as widely known about.
Yeah.
Maybe they're out there. I don't know. Anyway.
So filming, we've arrived to the filming
found it.
category.
Yeah.
So it was shot at the RKO Movie Ranch on an adapted 4-acre set for Cimarron from 1931, which I've heard of, but I haven't actually seen. 20 trees were planted there, as well as a bank was not planted. I guess it was built, but good English.
If you plant a bank, it'll grow.
And animals were allowed to roam freely on set. Like the whole town was like a built set, which was really cool because it's a massive set. You know,
Yes.
it reminded me of the set on, I think, Yojimbo, the Kurosawa film, which was just like they basically made it this entire like town, just built an entire town for shooting in, and it was cool. And I guess they had already done that for this, and so they just used a previous set, which is always cool. That's probably my favorite thing when going through like all of this like information on old movies. Is like in Gone with the Wind when they like had the set from King Kong in that like Atlanta fire and like that kind of thing. It's so cool.
And Children of Paradise.
Yeah,
With their
that was way
how big?
crazy.
40 mile long.
Yeah,
I don't know however big it was. Enormous set.
all that stuff is cool. Anyway, so shooting took the exact 90 days that were scheduled, which
Damn,
is
son.
interesting. Yeah.
What?
It wasn't like Maltese Falcon where like we're just getting everything done perfectly. It was just more like, yes, this is exactly as scheduled. It's fine.
Did
It
you
is
know-
neither good nor bad.
Good.
On average, it's a page a minute for a script.
Mhm.
So, and people film a page a day.
Oh,
Isn't that
that is also
crazy?
interesting.
I don't know
Yes.
about back then, but that's the norm for today.
It is
That's
really
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
But this was a 126-minute movie, so
Right.
yeah,
That's
I guess we're at a faster pace.
fast. Yeah, way fast.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That is interesting. That swimming pool opening thing set,
That was cool.
Oh,
it does still exist
No way.
at Beverly Hills High School.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's just an actual school?
Yeah.
They just filmed in?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that kid that like set it off
Yeah.
was Alfalfa.
What?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I looked at him and thought he looked familiar.
That's so funny.
Just
I
crazy.
love
Oh.
that.
Which is
Oh.
weird because that changes up the timeline in my head of when that happened
Mhm.
because I thought that would have been later, but I guess
Yeah.
it was earlier
Huh.
than 46.
Oh
I-
my gosh, that's
that-
so funny.
That
Mhm.
made me think of something else involving that character that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Because this is a really, really small thing. But I just like, there are some really good lines in this movie, and I
Mhm.
wish that I could remember more of them, but there are a few that I'm like,
It's
"Ooh,
literally your job.
it's so good. Well, I'll have you know, I wrote one down. So I
Oh
am
my
prepared for the end
God.
of this podcast episode.
Wow.
But I also really liked when he comes and steals Mary away from this kid, and he's like, "Hey, it's my dance," and he's just like, "Oh, why don't you stop annoying people?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Hey," and I'm just like, "Oh my god, just so blunt. Stop annoying people. Like,
It's just every
you
once in a
stole
while,
my date."
people just say something, and like if I were Mary, which is exactly like, I was just like, to me, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm really interested in Jimmy Stewart just
Yeah.
being an ass like
I
that.
know.
Like,
He just kinda
does
takes what he
kinda write
wants.
it, but it's
he does that like multiple times in this
So
movie,
funny.
specifically to Mary
yeah.
Men
or around Mary.
with women.
Like
Yeah.
when he's like,
1940s.
"Hey, you are married to me," and she's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
That was creepy.
that was creepy.
I felt so bad for her in that moment.
Uh-huh.
Also, I used to nanny a kid who looked just like Alfalfa.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cute.
Well,
We called him Peanut.
Aw.
Haven was allergic to him.
That's
Get it?
Anyway.
wow. I hate that.
Anyway,
And I kind of like
Sister of
that
the
too.
pod has a peanut allergy.
Haven never met this kid, but
Are we gonna have Haven on?
we really should.
Does she like movie thing that we
know.
cover? Which
Maybe.
movies?
Depends on the
She
movie.
can talk about like Paris.
The other day, she
Yeah.
was talking about how much she enjoyed the Lord of the Rings movies, and I was
Really?
like, Since when?
Yeah.
You need to watch them. You
"Well,
will.
I was thinking, what if she did it instead of me?"
No, you can't. You will not find a
Oh.
replacement. I'm sorry.
You think you can get out of this?
I like to be
keep
You
accommodating.
can escape
trying.
your fate.
I like. I want to be nice. I want to be accommodating. You know, but also, no.
What
that
if I'm
movement has
living in
been
LA filming a
voted down.
movie at that point?
We'll make it happen.
It's still gonna happen. So
Meh.
when I'm in Seattle, totally out of the state,
Right.
it will still happen. Even when I am taking 18 credits. it will
I'm
still
frowning
happen.
into my mic. Do you hear it?
Yes. It's a lot.
It's loud.
Also, they
Yeah.
invented new things for snow in this movie.
Yes.
So the formula was made of water, sugar, soap flakes, etc.
It's
Nice.
not asbestos though.
No,
Thank
which is
goodness.
good. Another thing
Thank
that they
the
used
Lord.
back in the day was like uncooked cornflakes, which
Hmm.
meant that they had to redub all of the dialogue with snow because it was too loud.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So they didn't have
no.
to do that with this movie, and it won an Academy Award for technical achievement because of just the snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
That's
so
the only
cool.
Academy Award it won was because of the snow.
I just got to shoot something with fake snow, and it really threw me off
Yeah?
because it was like more.
Hmm.
It was so light and fluffy, and it was like more sparkly
Mm.
than like real snow, and I was like, "What?"
Does it look good on camera, though? Like, did you
I
get to see?
think so.
Hmm.
I got to see the like playback monitor. It was just kind of blowing around though, and I was like, "Oh, it's just shiny and makes it look very Christmassy and like you're in a snow globe."
It's fun.
Not real at all.
But it's not cold.
Yeah,
Sad.
just gets in your eyes.
Ew. Yuck.
Yay.
Oh, and here's another thing that's yuck.
Yuck.
Reportedly, the actor of the druggist actually hit the kid that played young George and made his ear bleed,
Oh my god.
making the kid cry and the actor hug him. It's basically what
a
happens on
freaking
screen.
take.
Well, like that, it was the kid that I think claimed that like years later. Like, so this actually happened. So it's not like it's possible it didn't happen, but that's what the kid said.
I was
Jeez.
watching that and I was like, this is a heavy scene for a little kid.
Mhm.
Like having a man, I know it wasn't like crazy intense, but having the man hit you, I don't know. It was just a lot.
On top of like kid having job, and also on top of like having to deal with the fact that like his boss is like drunk and poisoning, and also his son died, and like he's aware of like that's a lot of thing that
he's a
would
little
scar
adult.
you like crazy.
Well, also
Right.
the two little girls that would sit up at the bar top, I was like, wow, how do they have like more class and maturity than I do? Like such swag
down.
sitting up there.
What?
Help me down.
Help me down.
Help you down.
When she leans over the counter, is this the ear you can't hear out of? I
Yeah.
love you forever.
Yeah. But yeah, like
I was like,
that's just
"Ooh."
like, you know, one of many scenes that just show like this dude has just had this weight of responsibility
At
for a
all
times. His whole
long
life.
time.
Mhm.
And
it
saving
just-
his brother.
And it keeps happening, yeah, just time after time, where it's like he has a hard situation and he's got a good enough heart to deal with it, but it takes a toll on a man.
And he
Does.
forgets to be grateful
It makes him sad
love
for a
it.
little bit.
or
Mhm.
accept help
Yes.
back.
So 3 cinematographers were used for the different parts of the film. The first one was Victor Milner, and Capra was like, I hate this guy. He's pretentious and slow.
All right.
So he kicked him out, and he replaced him
Moish.
with Joseph Walker, who was then like Columbia was like, hey, no, you need to film this movie for us now. And he was like, okay. And so he trained another guy, Joseph Byrock. And so all 3's work appear in the film, but they shot very different kinds of scenes in different parts of the story. And so
Okay.
it's relatively unnoticeable, or just actually adds to the effect of like
Right.
the tonal shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, differentiating each part.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
So that's cool.
Hmm.
There's a few other alternate scenes other than the Lord's Prayer thing. Originally, the boys play hockey on the ice and go to a no trespassing zone to retrieve a puck, which really upsets petty asshole rich old man guy who sends guard dogs after them, and that's how they fall into the ice,
Huh.
which is so
It's
convoluted. Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's thinking too.
Makes
Yeah,
sense why they
Kinda
cut
easy
it.
to just he slide too far
Mm-hmm.
and fall in hole, which he should have known was there.
Well, it looked
Just
like they
kidding.
had things blocking it off. Did you see that? It was
Oh.
like cones that was like a
I guess
not passing or
Well,
something, and he slid into that,
yeah,
and it fell out of the way, and then he goes too far into the
Mhm.
water.
that's
So
true.
it's like, but how would you stop yourself? You guys are sliding right towards the big hole.
It's not a great plan, regardless.
Yeah, and it was like wide open.
Dumb kids. It's fine.
There's also originally a detour in George's dad's office in that scene where he's like trying to find help because of the poison pills.
Oh.
Where Uncle Billy accidentally sets a wastebasket on fire. That's
Okay.
basically what happens, and I just put in parentheses, very cool.
Ooh.
Thank you, Uncle Billy. Very cool.
Yeah, he like throws a cigar in there and doesn't think about it, and then catches fire. And
So
then
it's more just kind of random
why-
stuff. That's like,
yeah.
it doesn't add anything. It's,
No.
It's probably good that it's
everything
not
they cut
there.
is like, yeah, that shouldn't have been there, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Also, it led to a falling out with the composer Dmitri Tomkin, who had done a lot of other Capra movies before. But Capra cut quite a lot of the score, and Tomkin was like, "You think this is optional?" And so he goes really mad and never worked with him again. But also, to be fair, I feel like the score is easily the weakest part of the film because it comes in at random moments and then it like gets cut out really quickly. So part of it's the way that it's edited.
That's fair.
But also like it's really sappy for a movie that like doesn't feel like it needs that to have an emotional impact.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm kind of partially on Capra's side on that one. I don't think that was a terrible creative decision to not use
Don't need
it
more
all
of
the
that.
time. It didn't need all of the score weighing it down all the time.
Yeah.
So I like that it wasn't there for most of it. But when it was, I was just like, yeah. Like the bit where he goes up onto the bridge. That was the bit that I was like, the score should not be there. It was weird. It did not belong.
Don't need it.
But what's the alternative? Just silence?
Yeah, I mean, most segments in most movies, I feel like, don't have a score behind them, and you just don't notice it.
Yeah.
And it comes in
that's
at the right
fair.
times, you know.
Yeah.
So, yep. But yeah, so the initial reviews were mixed, and the FBI released a statement about it.
What?
Okay.
I have a quote for it. With regard to the picture It's a Wonderful Life, Redacted stated in substance that the film represented rather obvious attempts to discredit bankers by casting Lionel Barrymore as a Scrooge type so that he would be the most hated man in the picture. This, according to these sources, is a common trick used by communists.
Right.
In addition, Redacted stated that, in his opinion, this picture deliberately maligned the upper class, attempting to show that people who had money were mean and despicable characters. Something that people have talked about later being like, it's funny that like they never mentioned the fact that like rich man gets away with theft just
true.
entirely.
This is true.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
It's like, where's the lie, though?
That guy comes in at the end, though, and rips up the paper.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Like,
throws
that's
it on
all
the
fine.
table.
I think that's kind of a separate thing. I think it's more about, oh, God, I already forgot his name.
Lionel Barrymore's Mr. Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Potter.
Him being a dick because
Right.
he's rich and he wants to gobble everything up. And that's
Nom,
how
nom,
rich
nom,
people be.
And so
And
they were like,
suck.
that's you're a communist, because we're getting up to the Red Scare era with McCarthyism and garbage. So
Sometimes.
yeah, where they're just like, everybody in Hollywood is apparently a communist, which I mean, no, but like that's fine.
Boy.
But that's the thing, is that McCarthy was like always. I was reading about this recently, but he's kind of always like, I have documents, I have evidence that shows blah blah blah, and then he never shows these documents because they don't exist. And it's just pinning it on people, and that is topical for the moment that we're in right now, but does not matter when, because Christmas,
Hooray.
Merry Christmas.
Hopefully things have settled down by
Merry Christmas. They have, Hunter.
They have,
What are you
because we're
saying?
recording
I am up to
2
date
days before Christmas.
with current events.
Exactly.
Huzzah.
Oh man, wasn't that thing funny that happened the other day? That meme,
Oh,
That was crazy.
that Christmas meme that happened.
Oh,
so
yeah.
funny. It was about,
2021's
like,
just around the corner.
Christmas.
Yeah, that was funny. Isn't it? Aren't you glad that we're done with like the third wave of COVID already?
Yeah, and the election was forever ago.
Like, I'm glad everything's like sorted out now. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, there's still some fires burning. You know,
A
maybe
couple.
metaphorically, maybe physically.
Yeah.
But they're
But
there.
it is what it is.
both.
Everything's okay now.
Yeah.
We have a vaccine that works.
It's all going to
Yeah.
disappear on January 1st. Wink.
January 1st, though. Why January 1st?
Because that's when 2020 is over.
So it'll just magically Disappear.
And
That
because
makes
2020 is the hell year, when it's over, everything will go back to normal.
Normalcy.
I am really looking forward to that, where every movie just comes out on January 1st because they're like, okay, fine, we can release it. It's not 2020 anymore.
You all can go to the movie theater.
Don't make me want
As many of
things
you
I,
as you want.
Don't make me
Mhm.
want things I can't have.
Movie Pass is back.
Yes.
I'm still gonna cry about Dune,
Dude,
which
it's
was supposed to be basically out by now.
Yep.
At this point,
Instead, no, never.
I get it, but also, anyway,
So-
carry on.
Yeah. So this was not a popular film whatsoever until it started being played on television in 1976, which is crazy. So 30 years later is when it starts being able to be played on television.
Our parents were born that year.
It is, yeah.
Whoa.
There's a pattern here. This keeps happening with these
Oh
movies,
my
doesn't it?
gosh.
It's weird because, yeah, a lot of films are like hated initially that are on this list and now considered the best movies ever.
I wonder
Like-
I wonder if we have any movies like that. Like
Yeah.
movies that come out now that are just kind of like passed off as like whatever. And then in like 30 years they're going to be like, "Oh my god,
Nightcrawler.
it's
Oh
ahead of its
my
time."
god.
I feel like Nightcrawler is going to be
Maybe.
legendary.
I feel like we like
someday.
Nightcrawler.
We already do, but like I think
it's
it's going to be a big
relatively
deal.
Small.
Yeah.
movie. Nightcrawler's dope. Watch Nightcrawler. Dope.
Anyway, so it's 11, or it was 11 on AFI's greatest movie list in 1998 when they made that list. But then they made another one in 2007 and it made it to number 20. It's number 1 on AFI's most inspirational American films list, which is so hyper specific.
It's very specific. Jeez.
It's got a 4.3 on Letterboxd, making it 94 of the top 250.
Nice.
It's 8.6 on IMDb. It's got a 94% critic score and 95% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And
Pretty
it
good.
did make it into the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress, just like many of the other ones we've covered.
Dang.
So
I'm pretty sure like every movie we've covered
basically,
is in
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So the way that got on television is interesting, though, because there are a lot of rights issues, because the film changed hands multiple times. So it was originally Liberty Films, which went to Paramount, which then went to M&A Alexander, which then went to National Telefilm Associates. And NTA had this clerical error that led to the copyright not being renewed in 1974. They just couldn't renew the copyright because of a clerical error. And so television stations could play the film without paying royalties to anybody except the author of the original story it's based on, because it's still considered
Whoa.
derivative work. So that's why it was played on television, is because they could do it cheap.
Wow.
That's
So,
awesome.
but this led to it being remembered as this classic, one of the greatest movies of all time, because it was played on television because of a clerical
Just
error.
make it really accessible.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then NTA turned into Republic Pictures which was then in 1993 able to argue that they had some claim to the film since they owned the rights to the short story it was based on. So then I think they started getting some royalties.
Interesting.
And then Republic Pictures was bought by Viacom, meaning that Paramount once again owned the rights,
Whoa.
making it one of the only RKO films that Turner does not own at the moment. One of the very few.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, I guess. And all of the public domain dispute led to the film being colorized without Capra receiving any artistic control. He was originally like, hey, I'm gonna fund this. We should do this colorization thing. It'd be rad. And he like gives this colorization company like $200,000 to do it. And he's like, yeah, and we'll split profits. It'll be awesome. And then they're like, actually, you don't fully own the rights. We could just do this without you. And so they gave the money back to him so they didn't have to pay him anything. And so then he was
Oh.
protesting the film being colorized.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And it's been colorized 3 separate times, I guess, over the years. Oh yeah, but it also led to it being released on home video in a lot of different weird ways.
Oh.
Including by Kinesoft on CD-ROM in 1993, making it the longest running video on a computer at that time. It was like the first time they were able to have a full movie on a computer. Was
I
this
don't even
movie?
know what that is.
Kinesoft had to work with Microsoft to be able to get it Windows to work to be able to run this movie on CD-ROM.
Wow.
Whack.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
isn't that cool?
I want to look into that. That sounds
I
fun.
It's actually
actually-
really cool.
I have seen this movie in black and white more than I've seen it in color.
Yeah.
So I watched it in color this time.
I did too.
I
yeah.
watched it in black and white because I
Where
think
did
I'd
you
seen it in
watch
color
it?
before. It's on both of them are on Prime.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
they
what
are?
happened.
Yeah.
It was
What?
it was
That's what I
restored in
wondered about.
4K in 2017, and both the black and white and colorized versions are put on Prime Video.
Oh. I only saw the colorized version, so that's the one I watched.
I started the black and white, and I was like, I always watch it in black and white.
It's pretty good in
I'm
color.
gonna mix it up.
It looked pretty good.
I like how subtle colors are in old movies like that.
Mhm.
It's like super muted
Everything, yeah.
colors.
See, I just like lately I feel like I prefer black and white movies.
Mhm.
Like if I were to rewatch Logan or Parasite, I would watch the black and white versions.
Yeah.
I just think it looks nicer in general, which
Mhm.
is weird. Cause I guess Francis Ha's my favorite movie. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess
Out.
that's a trend for me. But also Rear Window looks really good in Technicolor, really good.
Interesting.
I'm really excited for us to cover that one, which also
Hype.
they actually piggybacked. That's a good point. Thanks, me. The way that they were able to argue that Republic was able to argue in 1993 that it could claim some rights based off of owning the original rights to the short story. It was piggybacking off of a court case that Jimmy Stewart was in for Rear Window rights issues.
Huh.
So I'm excited to hear about that more once we get to Rear Window in a few weeks.
I think I'm researching that one.
Be very exciting.
Hype.
So yeah, I want to know whatever that court case was, because that was apparently a big deal in the rights game. Yeah, I don't know that there's that much more to say about the movie. Further watching, it got beat out. It got nominated for 5 Academy Awards, but The Best Years of Our Lives beat it out on pretty much everything.
Gosh, dang it.
Which, by the way, was William Wyler.
Gasp.
And Frederick March was the one that won Best Actor. So like going back to our A Star Is Born thing, like they just came back in 46, made a movie that just destroyed It's a Wonderful Life. And It's a Wonderful Life would have won all of those Oscars if they'd put it out when they're originally planning on, because they were going to put it out in 1947 in January. But they, for some reason, didn't. They wanted it to be in the 46 Oscars, so they put it out in December 46.
But you said it really didn't do very well, so it's like it wasn't received well, but it got all these Oscar noms.
Yeah, it was mixed. Like a lot of people were like,
fair.
but it got all the Oscar noms anyway.
Huh.
But
Happens
it
sometimes.
probably would have won because there was like no competition in 47, but in 46 there was all this competition. So it was a really stupid move for them to put it out in December instead of January.
They dumb.
Yeah, like if they just gone with the original release date, then it would be known for having all these Oscars, and that probably would have helped it
Interesting.
to be more well known at the time. Obviously, it's weird because when you think about it, in a very It's a Wonderful Life way, if it hadn't happened the way it did, we might not have it now.
That's true.
Because if it was popular at the time, then it probably, that clerical error might not have happened because it was like a bigger deal. It wouldn't have gotten passed around from a bunch of small studios. It would have been kept by RKO, and it might not have had the same amount of popularity that it has now because it wouldn't have been played on television as often.
So thank goodness.
So in a weird way, yeah, it made them lose 4 Academy Awards or something, but
That's fine.
But we
They're
still
fine.
know
but it
about
also, we know about it
more
now.
than whatever did win those
It has
awards.
more
That's
modern
true.
critical acclaim than it would have had probably.
Yeah.
So that's interesting for sure.
Instead of saying it is what it is now, when someone's like, blah, 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 I'm going to be like, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
And they can take that as sarcastically or
like it or
so
not.
seriously as they want. Exactly. It reminded me a lot of the, I don't know what word to use to describe them. The plays I did through high school that were written as fairy tales where angels were sent to save the princesses or whatever. And I was like,
those
that
ones.
opening dialogue with Clarence. They're
Right.
like, we need you to go do it. And then he
Oh my
can get his
gosh,
wings. I was like,
yeah.
this
Yeah.
is a play I was in for sure.
I kind
They
of
totally just took that and like stuck it in all those things that you were in. I went to go see a lot of those.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mirren saw all of them. Hunter saw all of them. The same concept.
They were good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Fun
I
Good
did
times.
kind of like that framing device though. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the little animated like galaxies and the Clarence coming in as like a little star.
He was like,
Yeah.
hi,
it
God.
was cute. And then it was funny because like I was like, why is there like a throwaway line about him reading Tom Sawyer? And then it made sense because like he had like an actual physical copy of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
was
but I
cute.
still don't understand why.
It was pretty random, but I
It
think it was
was.
just to be like a calling card to the audience to be like, oh, it's the guy from earlier.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's fair. And I don't know, makes him, for me, I was like, this is random. And then I was like, it's kind of like relatable or adorable for an angel to be like, Tom Sawyer. Oh, he's excited about it. He just needs to get his freaking wings. And they were kind of like trash talking him before he was in the room in space.
And did he say he died? Is he like a person?
Yeah.
Who became an
That's the
angel?
weird thing is
This movie has weird
Capra
theology.
said that the reason why he made the movie was to combat like the rising tide of atheism or something in the US, and he wanted to make something like kind of religiously minded. But it's weird because nothing about any of the weird like angel-y type things have like even any kind of remotely like Christian or religious bent.
Yeah, no.
They called him Joseph.
Right.
Was the other one.
But it feels vaguely like the American evangelical tradition, which is like you remove the actual like basis for why anybody believed that thing, and you just leave in like traditional value.
Yeah.
In quotation marks.
Set up your nativity scene, but don't believe in it.
Set up your nativity scene, but like you don't know what it is. It's just a Christmas thing. It's very Christmas, I guess, in that sense of like it's got some of those things, but it doesn't feel like it actually has like any connection to what Capra said he was going for with it.
I'm gonna set up my nativity scene tomorrow.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Right.
Because Christmas is in a few days.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
a little late.
But I've been procrastinating. I'm gonna put up a little post-it note on one of the angels that says Clarence.
Aw.
Yeah.
There's one.
We should decorate our
Hope
Christmas
on a
tree
Tom Sawyer
tonight
book.
because we haven't done that yet.
We should.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah. Like it's that tree's just been sitting there bare for like a week.
Oh, there's like those people that like put their Christmas lights and decorations up like in like November or October and then leave them up till like February. We're like the opposite of that. We're like, oh, it's Christmas Eve. I guess I'll put the tree up.
Yeah.
And then take it down the day after.
December 26th,
it-
tree goes down.
We take it down on Christmas.
On Christmas.
That's
Yeah,
what
we're
I think
so
we should do.
done.
You opened all your presents. Tree's going down. Help
We
me
take
out.
it down by 8 a.m.
Actually, if I lived alone, I would already had my tree up right after Halloween because the Christmas mood was strong this year.
Sad.
I would
Was
do that.
For me,
I felt like the October mood was not there.
I always get
wasn't.
into Halloween, and this year I didn't.
Sad.
It was sad. I really wanted to this year.
I did too.
Like we actually tried. I remember we were like playing through some spoopy games and like trying to get ready for it, and it just didn't really happen.
Yeah,
It
spooky
wasn't
mood was
folly
not.
enough. It's just
It
like
wasn't.
summer part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a
Except
random
also
bit
it
of snow.
snowed a couple times.
But yeah, it
Oh,
felt like
the
snow in
Christmas sprinkled
July. It
in.
didn't feel like snow in fall.
Yeah, it wasn't
Because
very
now it's
folly.
just 70 degrees again. Whatever. Anyway, just
That's
kidding. It's
fine.
December.
Yeah.
It's cold outside now.
We're getting a white Christmas this year, baby.
I hope so. We
Suck
didn't.
it,
We
fires.
didn't last year. I hope we do this year.
I've been dreaming of a white
Christmas.
Christmas.
Are we gonna watch White Christmas?
Further
next?
watching, watch White Christmas.
I actually don't. That movie did not stick with me.
I was
Really?
just thinking about that yesterday, I think.
Totally have that movie like in my head.
Really? I need to
Yeah.
rewatch it then. Maybe I was just too young. I remember
Yeah,
it being
I was
boring.
definitely-
No, I think you would actually really like that one in
I
particular.
probably would.
Yeah.
But we're going to watch a cool movie next.
Yeah. You can't take it with you. And Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Third Man.
Oh
I'm
man.
excited about
The
that.
third man is sure that he's being watched by an eye in the sky that can't be stopped. When you get to the promised land, you have to shake that eye's hand.
Are you rapping at me?
No.
The only rapping you better have right now is wrapping paper
I'm-
for my present.
Oh,
You
I'm quoting
louse.
Modest Mouse lyrics. They're about as
Whoa.
they definitely don't rap.
Modest louse.
Modest Mouse,
Take this, you louse.
Modest Blouse.
Whoa.
Got it. Classically, Abby told
mod-
me I have to dress modestly.
I feel like I'm intoxicated. What was in that eggnog?
Everything.
All of them.
So it tasted weird.
Whoa.
I'm sorry if Hunter wasn't able to cut out the audio of my iPad giving me email notifications. I turned my volume all the way off. I don't know why the notification sounds are still coming through because there's no switch to turn that off anywhere on this
Oh.
device.
That's weird.
So there's like I don't know. I'd have to like poke around in settings, try to find something to turn it off, and that's stupid.
I think we
Weird.
should leave that in. I think we should leave your sneeze in and my panic attack in, so that the audience
all.
can just have a full experience of what it's like
Guess
to
what?
be here.
I just won't edit this episode.
The only thing we should
Yeah.
take
Just
out
post
is
it.
Post
my
it.
boring anecdote story about
Yeah,
Martin
I don't want to hear
Sheen and
that.
Martin
No, it was
Short.
great. It was
Or-
funny.
45-minute intro about Jingleberry Bob.
Still,
Yeah, speaking of
Don't
which,
even know who
where
you're
is
talking
Jingleberry Bob? He
You
said
know
he was
what,
going to
though?
come back, right?
Oh my
you
god!
know, the only thing that makes me think is
Billy.
I have to go pee. I gotta go pee. So I'm gonna go pee while you guys wrap this up.
You're
Okay,
hydrated.
okay, bye.
That's not how this.
Going.
Wait, but wait.
Hunter.
Oh, maybe Jingleberry Bob has a quote for us.
Maybe.
Hello?
Hello, guys. It's
Bob!
me.
Oh,
Oh
hey.
my god, I missed you.
Hi, Jingleberry Bob.
Hello. I've missed you, you beautiful little elf. Whatever you are.
I am a Christmas fairy. That is what I told you earlier. I would like to be
Your voice-
respected.
Your voice cracked. Are you going through puberty?
Probably.
3,000
Keeps
years.
doing that. I was definitely at work the other day and my voice cracked really bad. It
Aw.
was really sad.
You don't work anymore.
Anyway,
Your tacos already.
God, you know, with Santa in the workshop up north,
You said you were a fairy.
I am a fairy. Elves are a lie. We're
Say-
fairies.
Say fairy godparents.
Don't patronize me.
Say it.
No,
Say it.
That's kind of racist.
I am here to deliver a
Fairy
verdict.
godparents.
It has been declared by Lord Santa Claus, the god of Christmas, that this movie is indeed Christmassy enough.
That's so good to hear.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
So you may speak of it, and it goes. It will be allowed to be a Christmas movie.
Do you guys want to? Oh, hey. Do you guys want to like let the audiences know where they can find us on the interwebs?
Instagram.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Twitter. YouTube.
Movieoverloadpod.com.
Google is your friend.
Movie Overload Pod on Instagram. Movie Overload _ because Twitter is lame on Twitter.
Patreon.com/movieoverload.
Movie Overload. That's it.
And as we say,
Hey guys, I forgot I needed to do the movie quote.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm back.
Hi.
Sorry.
What have-
Continue.
okay.
Give me the outro.
Thanks for listening.
You're okay.
We
I
like to
guess.
say a thing when it comes to this time to say things, and that thing that we like to say generally tends to be
Say, brainless. Don't you know where coconuts come from? That's my deep quote from
that's
this
the
movie.
perfect.
That's the
quote.
moment we
You
all
did
fell
it.
in love with George
Say,
Bailey.
brainless,
Yeah.
Don't you know where coconuts come from?
That's when I realized that kid's a jerk.
He's such an
He's
asshole.
a misogynist.
And
I
she
don't
was so
know.
cute there. She,
I don't
I don't
know
like
why.
coconuts.
He
It's
was
like
always
she
kind of an asshole to marry,
Yeah.
even though he kind of loved her, but he was kind of an ass. And she was always just like, hey, that's fine.
doesn't- Yay, at least he's
Because
cute.
I'm the woman and I'm supposed to just be fine with that.
Aha.
I don't have to have a personality. I have to be a homemaker and happy all the time.
But even these little girls, it's like, he just called you brainless.
Mhm.
And you look like you have enough swag to take out a small gang. Like, come on, little girl.
That's true.
Come on.
Anyway,
Hunter,
that
good
stood out
job.
to me for some reason.
Well
and I wrote
done.
it
Good job
down
on the
a
quote.
piece of paper.
I want to
So-
say bye to all of you, and specifically Jingleberry Bob and Billy.
Bye.
I
Let
don't
me
know
go
who
grab
that
Billy.
is, but I respect that.
Bye.
Oh, see ya.
My name's Billy, and I'm saying bye. That's how I communicate at Christmas time.
That makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
we're just so full of the spirit at the moment.
I really am.
The Christmas spirit, not not the holy one, not the alcohol one, the Christmas one.
Not the Halloween
We're being
one.
filled with the spirit.
You know what they say?
The Santa spirit.
Santa is the god of Christmas.
Oh God!
You know, I just heard that recently. It was the first time I
That's
heard
weird.
that.
I feel like that's like a really niche, like internet thing that I've seen.
That's so
It's
random.
the first time I heard. Man, it was like, you sure you didn't see Jingleberry Bob out in the hallway?
Who?
I ain't never seen two pretty best friends.
You guys okay?
That's a trend right now. Never forget it.
I've seen that. I don't know why it came up
It's
just now,
so
but
weird.
I
Anyway,
have seen that.
I digress.
I found a good one of it. I'll show you guys.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I think that might be the end of the
I think
the
so.
Okay,
Quad.
bye, pod.
See you later.
We can have like a Christmassy rendition of our theme song.
I did that at the beginning.
Thank you.
Sorry. I don't know why I sneezed today. Yeah, no, this is gonna be so hard to edit. No, it's fine. I think you're editing this one anyway. So, and I need a tissue.
Oh God.
I'm dying.
Hold on.
Why?
Please leave this in the episode.
I don't know. I don't think so. Sometimes I am.
Sometimes
It's always
he
hard to
bleeds.
tell because, like, honestly, I'll sneeze and then I'll just be bleeding.
Your body was like a sneeze.
Okay. Just like a mom who's had 4 kids on her period.
Whoa. Wait. Oh God.
Does it come out of her nose?
No.
It's like, wait a second.
I'm sorry.
Guess what? I'm making bloopers for this
Oh,
episode.
crap. I mean,
Ooh.
I think it deserves it.
Just like stitched on at the end. It would be funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
for a few
fine.
things.
I'm
Not
all
every-
right.
I'm
I'm
not
all right
gonna
with
say
that.
which
You do
things are
it.
gonna make it. I don't know. We're gonna
Even
find out
if you're
later.
not scheduled to edit this episode, you're editing this episode.
Yeah. I think I am,
I think you are.
because I think my last one was Casablanca, which I still haven't done.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you have, because it's Christmas
Cool.
time.
Yes, you're right.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah.
Anyway.